Welcome back to the course. So now let us talk about what are the different methods of international payments. It is very useful to know the different methods that are available to the importers for making international payments. So as you can see here in this particular diagram, there are several methods of making international payments, starting with the advance payment, to the letter of credit, that is the documentary credit, to the bank collection against the DP, that means documents against payment, and the bank collection against DA, that is the documents against acceptance, to the open account and the consignment sale. So these different payment methods, they have their own significance, their own importance, and depending on the product, depending on the industry, depending on the practices of a particular country of origin or the country of destination, different payment methods are used and negotiated and bargained depending on the bargaining power of the supplier and the importer. So, for example, if you have as an importer very weak bargaining power, you may have to agree for the advance payment to the supplier, because it is difficult to get the goods and there are very few suppliers. They enjoy very strong bargaining power. So you may have to go in for the advance payment, which is the least secure method of making international payment, because you have already paid money to the supplier. Now this money can be 100% payment or it can be partial payment. So it all depends on the negotiations and the situation. So the advance payment is one method, much easier for anyone, because there are no involvement of any bank and the documentation and everything is much simpler, easier. But it is very insecure method of payment for the importer. So this is the least secure method of international payment, and it is just a compromise that you need goods urgently and you have to make the advance payment, because the supplier will not give you the goods without the advance payment. And these advance payments can generally be done through the credit cards or through wire transfer. So different methods, bank transfer, it is there, but the direct involvement of the bank is not there. So risk of the bank is not there. Then the second very popular method of making international payment is the letter of credit, that is the documentary credit. This is one international trade financing instrument that has been discussed and researched most internationally. And this is supposed to be the best method for both the supplier and the importer. But it is the costliest method. It is having the level of security for both the parties, that is the supplier as well as the importer, that is balanced. The risk or the protection for both the parties are very similar in nature because of the involvement of the third party, that is the bank. And depending on the reputation of the bank, the payment to the supplier is secured, and in case of any default by the supplier, payment will not be made to the supplier. And depending on the different consequences of the letter of credit, there can be some penalty also for the suppliers for the default in supplying the goods or non-delivery of the goods. So there are different situations and there are a lot of legal implications of the letter of credit because of the involvement of a third intermediary, that is the bank, which ideally should be the first class bank. The first class bank, as per the ICC Paris, France, that is the nodal agency that announces the guidelines of the management of these letter of credits, this international trade financing instrument, through a document that is called UCP. And there are different versions that are available. The most popular at present times are UCP 500 and 600. Then the reason why this letter of credit is not that popular is because of the costs that are involved in the letter of credit, because of the risk premium attached with this instrument, the risk premium that is charged by the bank, because the payment risk, the liability of the payment is of the bank. So this risk premium makes it a very costly instrument. In such cases where the cost is not bearable for the importer to make the international payment through letter of credit, and if the supplier agrees, then the other trade financing instruments that are offered by the international commercial banks, that is called the bank collection. So the bank collection is generally of two types. One is the documents against payment, and second is the documents against acceptance. So in the bank collection, the risk of the bank is not there. So what happens when you agree on these bank collection terms with the supplier? The supplier is supposed to send the original documents for the sea shipment, including the transport documents, including the commercial invoice, packing list, certificate of origin, quality certificates, or any other documents that is required by you as an importer. Those original documents are sent through banking channels, and it comes to your local bank, that is the collecting bank, and after you make the payment, only then these documents will be handed over to you as an importer. So this is the process that is called the bank collection. Herein, if the payment has to be made immediately for getting the documents, that is payment at site, that kind of situation is called bank collection on the DP terms, that is the documents against payment. And if there is some usance period involved, the meaning of that is that you get the documents against acceptance letter, that you accept that payment has to be made, and this payment will be made after certain usance period, maybe 10 days, 15 days, 30 days, whatever has been agreed between the importer as well as the supplier. That usance period make it necessary for you as an importer to get the documents against acceptance letter or against acceptance. So it is called bank collection against DA terms. So starting from the advance payment method to the letter of credit to the bank collection on DP or DA terms, the protection for the importer, that is you, is improving. Advance payment is most unsecure for you, and letter of credit is more secure. Bank collection is even more secure for you, and bank collection through DA is even more secure, because here you are not paying, you are simply giving the acceptance letter. And then you have the other methods, those are called the open account and consignment. Now, depending on the bargaining power you enjoy, you may make the supplier agree to supply the goods on open account. The meaning of that is that goods will be supplied not against the payment. They will be supplied and the documents will be given to you. The payment will be made as per the open account. That can be 30 days account, that can be 60 days account, that can be 90 days account, or even more. So depending on what is the period of the open account, you make the payment on certain intervals, 30 days interval, 60 days interval, or 90 days interval. So that is called the open account. Then the consignment terms of international payment is the form of open account wherein the payment is made after the goods have been received by you from the supplier and has been already delivered to the end user or sold to the end user, and the payment has been made by the end user to you. Based on that payment, the payment will be made to the supplier. So here there is no fixed period of the payment. The meaning of that is the consignment will come to you. That consignment has to be sold. Payment has to be received from the buyer, end user, customer, your local customer. And when that payment has been received, you will make the payment to the supplier. So this is the most secure method for you as an importer. Consignment sale is the most secure method of international payments. So these are the different types of international payment methods that are used depending on the different situations, different scenarios of business. So in the next slide, what I will do, instead of discussing in depth all these payment methods, I will focus on the letter of credit, that is the documentary credit. If you understand the procedure and the flow of the goods, the flow of the documents and the payment in letter of credit, all other methods will be crystal clear. So just by explaining how letter of credit works, you will understand the complete gamut of the different international payment methods that are used internationally.